Okay,
Recording in progress.
we're ready for you, Trish.
Okay. Well, it's kind of a whirlwind morning. All right, so. This morning, the county checkbook, first of all, good morning, I'm sorry. This morning, the county checkbook has a total of $762,043.63. The jail checkbook has $99,387.46. We have expenses are at 5% for county and 5% for jail, with 0% revenue brought in at this time. I'd like to say that the packet that you've got does not reflect reserves. I am still in the process of moving and finalizing, but you will notice in your packet there is a new sheet that has reserves listed out as to when they are moved and how they are moved. I think I showed that to you yesterday, Commissioner Short.
Yeah.
So that's more of the plan. So that's where we're at this point. And I do have the warrants for you to sign.
So
Okay.
on the appropriations control sheet that we have here, it's not reflecting expenses that have come out, even though it's 5%. Is that?
I have had some difficulties with these reports, and I'm working with software, trying to get it squared away. There is expenditures. I think that and I can see I know exactly why, Amy, and I'm Commissioner Plow, excuse me, and I do apologize. It wasn't posted in the GL yet. I hadn't done it yet. I expected to do that this morning. And so now I see that it doesn't show on your totals. I will email you those totals. I do apologize for that. Still learning how the whole process works.
Okay, no, please do. Excellent, excellent.
Do you want to make a motion to accept the finance director's report?
I make that a motion.
I made the motion.
Oh, then I'll second that motion. And are we all in favor?
Yes,
I will make a motion that we sign MCRRC accounts payable and reserve warrant for $140,053.24.
second it. All in favor?
Yep. And on behalf of Commissioner Johnson, she had said that we
Yeah.
could stamp her on those. And the next one is I will make a motion that we pay the county accounts payable and reserve warrant for $314,544.22.
I
And
second
2
that
cents.
motion. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, the last thing that I have this morning is, I've been working with Eaton Peabody and the First National Bank. And Eaton Peabody, Dan Pittman has prepared the paperwork. And I went through it, and this is the only pages that I need you to sign. Our tax certification note is at 4.9% interest. And there is.
You got that, right? 4.9 interest. That's no. You sign
Yeah.
on this line. Yeah. And Commissioner Johnson has also approved that we sign that.
Officer this morning approved that we could use a stamp for that.
I will make a motion that we sign the 2023 tax anticipation note with First National Bank.
I second that motion. All in favor?
That's it for that. Yeah, there's a lot for Barbara the clerk to sign and myself, and we will get that done later today and send that back to Dan Pittman and Eaton Peabody and get that all prepared. And I am in contact with the bank so they understand what's going on. The last thing I'll just mention for what it's worth. We are in the process of moving the checking account fund for the helpful plan. And that is also going to collect the 3.8% interest.
Good.
So, and that is guaranteed for the year, and we're in that process, and Malcolm's working with me with that. The 2 CDs that we have are coming matured this month, and those will be pulled back and
Perfect.
put in that. fund as
Perfect.
well, so we're in good shape.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you very, very much. I truly can't think of any numbers that we're gonna spend or need you for, where you've got so much to do. If you wanna sneak out of here, I don't blame you.
Dale,
Yeah,
Dale, I got a couple of comments
I do
before
want
we
your
start.
thoughts, and then I'll be out.
The gals were up from Deeds the other day, and they had some ideas that weren't going to work out too well. They wanted to take over some office space on our side of the aisle. So I told them, I said, we're meeting needlessly. We need to sit down with Dale. We need to decide how much room we have to have. If we have to break through a wall to connect it with this back room, we'll do that, but we can't do anything without Dale measuring and being confident that he can, like it. He said there's like 4 copies down
he
there.
said there's a lot of stuff that they don't
Yeah.
utilize or need that is large. And, you know, we have other, I mean, we've offered them this room back here, and we've also got maybe some rooms upstairs for storage. We also have a wonderful archive now that we can. I'm not getting rid of the copiers up there, but don't, you know, but I'm just thinking.
Right. Well, actually, that's the real topic for today wasn't the project up at the garden, it's those 2 projects. Information here. There you go.
Commissioner Johnson's husband passed this morning.
Going to leave something here for her, or so?
Would you? Yeah.
Sure. So I did go over actually to the registry, the old probate office. And in there is 1,750 square feet of space. And if you added the space in behind there, it takes it up to 2,130 square feet.
Mhm.
We were originally going to build them a 2,000 square foot building.
Dale, is there a wall or something we can break through
You've got
connect those rooms?
You've got the mechanical room that's between those 2. I don't know if,
We were just trying to think of a pass through that would make it easier for them to come through, and then we had thought of something, if we had to, like exterior.
Yeah.
out-
that mechanical room that's in there, it's not accessible from. I mean, it's accessible from through there, through that door. That was an outside wall, the one between there and here at one point, so it's probably a lot of brick.
Okay, okay.
I mean,
So the
anything can be
square
done.
footage, the square footage that you're talking about, the 2,100,
2,100.
does that include this back room here?
Yes.
So I mean, even if we had to, for the time being, is this ill for me to think, but I mean, could this be utilized, for storage or whatever, and when somebody has to go there or use it, I mean, obviously they would come through until we could do something.
There's not everything that they use that the public needs access to. And that would be the best thing to put back there.
Yeah,
I am meeting with Stacy, keep on saying the word. Been here too long. Meet with Stacy on Friday at 2, and we're going to go through their existing structure. And I'm going to be taking measurements over there and finding out what each space is used for, and so I can kind of compare for over there.
Mhm.
On what I printed off, the permitting, I looked into the fire marshal. I went and met with the not planning board, the code enforcement officer. And if everything's going to be like, everything that we're doing is going to be able to go through the code enforcement officer, which is going to be a heck of a lot quicker than the planning board. So we're good there. The fire marshal,
is that Marshall
no,
code enforcement? I should have
Bob
said that.
Fournier.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the current CEO.
Okay.
Marshall is still there, but he's kind of like this part-time help in the planning department.
Okay, yep.
So basically, for a public structure, any renovation is supposed to go through the fire marshal's office.
You're recorded.
Um,
Okay,
and we have to come up with so So if we do any type of add walls, add doors, that type of thing, we will have to go through the fire marshal. If over there we don't have to do any, I think if we don't have to do any full walls, only half walls. And if we'd only had, maybe the little doors or no door in that half wall, we probably can get away with not having to go through the fire marshal on that project. If we have to add a, full wall and doors and all that, or take them out, then we'll have to go through the fire marshal. The project up the hill will definitely have to go through the fire marshal's office. What I'd like to do is contact BRC architects. They're the ones who designed the public safety building, and see if we can get the CAD files, the computer aided drafting files for that, so that we don't have to start from scratch on everything. For that, I'll see, they'll probably want some sort of charge for it, but and then the lead architect for WRC who worked on that project now works for Haley Ward, which was the other company that we considered. What I'd like to do is to go through them and just get them to help us come up with what we need to go to the fire marshal, because that'll make it a lot quicker. We don't need full construction plans and specs, and so we're not looking at, I'm figuring probably less than 10 grand.
I was just gonna ask, we are anticipating, okay.
For that, because again, all we need is, now there's some stuff that we need the second page here on your backside of the front sheet is showing what we needed to put on that plans for the fire marshal. And it's floor plans, site plans, elevations, doors and ramps and everything else. I think, I'm not sure, I'm going to confirm that with fire marshal, that we actually have to identify that for the whole darn building, both. If we had to go to the fire marshal on that, not just the space we're renovating. But I'm going to confirm that. You have to show stairs and ramps and tread depths of this nightmare. But if it's okay with you, I'd like to hire Haley Ward and the lead architect, who was the lead architect.
Especially where we've utilized him.
Yeah. Just to do what we need to do to get to the fire marshal, do the fire marshal permit.
And also, I think you definitely should get a hold of WBRC to get our CAD drawings. That'll make it a lot easier. Remodeling up there, the DAs.
It'll have the mechanical and electrical and everything else on
What
those.
do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, yes.
We want to, we're having when Amy and I had a discussion with them yesterday, I guess, the day before there. And they having a hard time visualizing.
The ladies from Deeds.
Deeds, okay.
Yeah. And we need to kind of get them reoriented,
Yeah,
and we need to make this work somehow.
yeah.
That's
Well,
what
we
we
just
need
kept
to
saying,
do.
we have a budget, we only have X number of bags.
Right.
We're not building a new
Well,
structure from start. We're gonna utilize what we've got, and it is hard. I know I'm a visual person, but
The biggest issue here is time, not necessarily the money. I think we've got enough money to do what we need to do in both places, but if we want to try to get this done before the end of the year, which we could theoretically go another
I
year,
was
but
gonna say till 2020.
till end of 24. But the fire marshal's permit is what's going to hold us up.
Yeah.
We could hire Dennis Fry tomorrow and go over and work over there.
Yeah,
But we can until we know if we're gonna have to have a fire marshal permit and we can fit them. And so Friday, I'm meeting with Deeds, we'll come up with their needs. And then I'll come up with some, I'm gonna draw up. I have some simple CAD drawings of my own. I'll draw up some plans, I'll draw up some scenarios that they can kind of lay out. We could have Haley Ward, a lot of those architects can actually come up with 3D renderings of the inside, much like when you go to Vikings or Hammond and you want your kitchen designed.
So you
They
got somebody
lay
that
everything
does
out,
that.
and then they have, the computer generates an isometric view, a three-dimensional view. They can do the same thing.
And that would probably help, help the
Yeah.
ladies out to visualize it a little more too.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep. So,
but it is interesting to note that originally, if we were gonna build from scratch, it was only going to be, 2,000
2,000 square feet.
square feet, and at this point, it's actually larger than that. And that was gonna be 2 stories, wasn't it?
Correct. And we're gonna have an elevator and stairs and
Yeah,
mechanical.
which they've got now, and 2
So we don't have
stories,
to add
it's
any
1
extra.
floor, yeah.
Also, the last 2 pages are my construction schedule estimate on both the, forget the heading. The first one is the new district, a new DA's office, and the second, the shorter one is the Dean's office.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I forgot to change the heading on the spreadsheet.
My word.
Yeah.
What is the shorter one? I'm sorry.
The shorter one is deeds,
Thank you.
the longer one is DA. But that's what I figure we have to do to get everything accomplished. And so, and I've also written down potential contractors to do those. Now on the DA one, I need to talk with Keith to find out whoever's doing the mechanical now repairs, if he would rather they did the work, we could put them there in there.
okay,
But we've got Dennis for the deeds, and I'm pretty sure that we can get the same builder that's doing the EMA building to do the DA piece next summer.
How soon do you think you can get the CAD system from WBRC?
I will call them next week and
I
see.
think
if
you'll find it's just gonna be a little chip, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's all it will
Okay.
be. It's just, will they do it and how much do they want for it?
Yeah.
And then, so I don't think it'll take more than a week to get that. And then I've got to meet with Haley Ward and see if they're willing to do it. Of course, like everybody, contractors and designers, their schedules are a nightmare. And so we'll see, you know, what we can get involved with that. I think that's it for those two. We're going to beat the band. Hopefully this weekend, we're gonna be insulating the EMA building. Some of the subcontractors not real happy. They're beating the band today and tomorrow, trying to get everything done before the insulators get in. And if we have some things we may have to hold up on certain areas.
What are we doing, rock wall?
It's a mixture of, some places are getting the blown in blanket, most of the exterior walls. We've got an interior wall between the garage and the main building. We're doing rock wool. Areas where they're difficult to get to with bibs, we put in rock wool. And there's actually a couple places we've even stuck in fiberglass, so it's kind of a mixture of everything. Most of it's gonna be bibs, blown in blanket insulation, and then there's blown insulation on the ceiling of the garage.
Good.
And all that. As a matter of fact, this morning and tomorrow, I'll be building a catwalk up in the attic of the garage, so that once the insulation is in there, we can still get up in there and run things. Older guys are running panels. They're putting in ductwork.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're hoping actually maybe in a week or so turn the heat on
That's awesome.
in here.
That's awesome.
And hopefully also the trusses are now on site for the warehouse. And they're hoping that maybe sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks, they can actually start building the
Yes.
warehouse.
good, good.
Well done, Dale. That's awesome.
Sounds like we're on track, Dale.
Oh,
The hardest thing we have to figure out is how to use this back room.
Yeah, I'm not sure if going through the mechanical rooms, I'll have to go in there with Keith in the mechanical room, see if there's even
but before
appropriate.
I see this project come to a screeching halt, you know what I mean? My thought is even if for the time being, this courtroom is used technically twice a month. If they had to actually walk through here to get to a storage area or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't want to see it come to a screeching halt
They
because,
must have a lot of stuff that they either have to store or something over there.
no,
And that would be a better place for that.
well, yeah,
The other thing I thought of too was if this entrance here, is if we built kind of a little wall across there.
Yeah, that's what I'm
that could be a
talking about,
closet,
Dale.
that could be a closet for you. And then, you know, it really means nothing to the use of that space back there anyways. But that hallway would basically be a storage closet.
no. I mean, whatever, but, you know, there's files that, you know, they said they have to have on premises, but the public can't access and they don't utilize.
Right.
Well, no, so I don't know.
We have some.
I definitely
upstairs
think, I think we
use.
can make this work.
I
Really,
really do. I think so.
Like you said, it's hard to visualize. You stand there and you see this one room and you know that you've got 8 rooms you're coming from.
Yeah,
But one room's a hell of a lot easier to work in than it is 8.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
On 2 different floors, you have to use spiral stairs to get between.
no. No, so,
get rid of a
And-
couple of copiers.
And you have kind of an open area upstairs for the public and an open area downstairs for the public. Well, you don't need two open space areas for the public, you only need one. The reason why they've got two is because they're on two different floors.
Right,
So that's.
but you also remember you have street access from here.
Yep.
You know, out back too, so I
Right.
don't know if, you know, that could be public, I don't know,
Yeah.
but there's also street access, private access on that
Yeah.
side too.
And if we get Haley Ward on board, they can, look at this, Keith, right there. At some point in time, if you could get me into the mechanical room. Just to take a look.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. They could, Matt Carter was the architect. He could probably give us some ideas. Too.
Yeah.
The key, I think, though, is if we want to break that space up, is to do it with half walls. Because then I think we don't have to go to the fire marshal. They're just kind of dividers, you know.
Yeah.
Spacing, so,
We'll leave it in your hands, Dale.
okay,
Thank you very, very much.
thank you.
Take an extra donut for your effort.
That's right.
They never give me an extra number.
I'll just take one.
Thank
I'll
you,
be seeing
Dale.
you a little later for,
Yeah, whenever you want,
okay,
whenever you want is fine.
Yeah.
Anytime.
I'll give you a call.
Yeah, 'cause I want to get the
Give you
Stacy.
a call when you're ready. I'll get to the office.
Okay. Yes, so there.
Are you here for the solar?
Yeah, I'm waiting on my guys.
Okay, well, that's what I was getting.
You haven't found out about the rebate thing yet.
It's still as part of the contract, so as part of their proposal, though I haven't heard any more discussion about it.
Because if we can save money on this solar project, there's no reason why we can't use the same rebate on the other one.
I don't see why not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that'll be a rebate that comes
Mentioned
from
that.
the government, not the solar company.
Right,
They want their money up front.
yeah. So I guess I'm on hold until my guy gets here, Barb, so.
Keith, would you be so kind as to ask Annette if she would come in very quickly, and I'd like to introduce her and.
Okay,
No more voting.
Yes. Lagden?
Hi.
Annette, if you would please join us at the table, it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you and any of the listening public or department heads, our new HR director, Annette McLagden.
Yes.
And I always destroy her name. Annette comes to us with an extraordinary wealth of HR experience and knowledge, and she's 3 days in and has literally been thrown into the fire, and she's here and grateful. And I would like to make a motion that we hire, and it is effective as of this past Tuesday when she started, Annette McLagden. As our HR director.
I'm glad to support that. I support that motion, Commissioner Fowler. And I am also glad that Nanette is on board. It's someone that we need desperately over the years, and hopefully she'll be with us for a long time.
Anymore, excellent,
All in favor?
absolutely. And I know Commissioner Johnson, as you're aware of her situation, I know she will be incredibly excited to meet you.
Oh, same here.
Yeah, Dale, I don't know, I know you were in here the other day when it was chaos, and I don't believe you got
What's your maiden name?
Walker.
Okay, I thought.
Well, yeah, so you do,
I think this is the same. Probably that, and I never pronounced it incorrectly, that we grew up, our fathers worked together.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I went for a while.
yes.
Yeah,
I think-
Detroit.
Yeah. I think-
okay, well, Annette, this is Dale Rowley, and he is the director of our EMA.
Nice to meet you again,
Yeah.
after all these years.
Yeah.
Just a few though, really,
Yeah, just a couple.
just a couple. So I'm looking forward to working with you and meeting. We definitely want to schedule a time and see what HR can do for you.
Great.
I'm here with lots of energy and hopefully knowledge, and if not, energy to research it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's brainstorm.
Yes.
She has extraordinary connections with Maine peers and workers' comp and everything else. It truly is exciting and refreshing. And she's got a lot of really historically in the past, I was trying to explain to Annette that we did a lot of wellness things, a lot of kind of fun things, but we haven't had time lately and I really think, especially now, everybody could really use that.
Yeah,
And,
especially as folks are coming back into the office and reacquainting them, but also reassuring them that they're deserved, respected and well needed, especially at the county level. We provide a lot of public service and we want the public to be aware that we are here and we're supporting them as well as our employees. So everyone needs to know what they're doing. So no, I'm very excited. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I think together we're going to make a dynamic team.
Feel free to contact us anytime you have a question,
and
just come in.
yeah, and in the
Oh, thank
past, once in a while, HR would ask for a spot on the,
I could see.
Yeah.
you know, like new hires, a lot of times will, you know,
I
you'll
wondered
present
about
them. Right now, I believe department heads, like Mike will probably present his. But, you know, that's all you. So if you want to meet with us, or you got some great ideas or wellness or,
Oh, no, absolutely.
and one of these days, you know, coming soon, I would like to actually take her to the departments. But at this point, some days I wonder if she just is gonna have to drive up herself, but don't be
Yeah.
surprised.
I can see myself doing that.
Well, you're just walking in, Olga,
My
always,
ID.
what Olga always has at Dale's office, Olga, the deputy director,
Oh,
is an incredible cook and baker. A lot of times when you go there,
yeah.
check and see what the menu is.
I'm gonna go on days I don't have breakfast.
Yeah, yeah, we have a meeting today at 11, don't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Okay,
Welcome, Marcy. Flynn.
okay, please let her know I'll be there.
Okay.
Well,
I
yeah,
look forward to sharing some success stories with the public on these meetings, so definitely expect at some point to see my name on the agenda. That's how it is.
excellent. Thank you
Okay.
very, very,
Thank
very
you.
much.
I'll continue watching you on Zoom.
Oh, goodness, yes, sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bob, do you have anything you want to bring up while we're waiting on Keith's associate?
The only thing I had for correspondence was the tax abatement hearing that was requested, and I don't know if you want to speak to that at all.
So we have a tax abatement request from a property owner in Liberty. Who has provided a wealth of information and a lot of factual information. In reading through it, it truly looked like the town has made a clerical error and there's a lot of money involved and maybe, you know, maybe they're not sure, whatever. I reached out to contact the town yesterday and I didn't get anybody, and I'd like to try to call the town again. Because I really think that the town could resolve this instead of it coming before us with a tax abatement. And if I can't make any progress with the town, then respectfully, I would ask that we have an abatement hearing for this particular piece of property. So that's
Thank you.
okay.
That was-
And Barb, I will let you know no later than tomorrow,
Sure,
so that you can reach out.
I appreciate that. Thank you. That was all I had for correspondence, and as you can imagine, I don't have another 7 minutes for you, but those
No, no,
are
no,
rolling
no.
on.
I'd also like to announce where we are in public forum for anybody who is watching, or if we have department heads on, that Commissioner Johnson's husband unfortunately has passed away this morning, so we send our condolences and
I did send that out. Hopefully.
thank you, Barb.
Mhm.
Thank you. What about Jason? I know he's hiding back there. You want to talk to Jason?
Jason, you available?
Jason, you hiding back there? I know he is. Jason.
It takes him a minute to get
Jason.
around the desk and through the 2 doors.
Oh, you're back there.
These days, I just want to dig a tunnel and just pop up underneath the table.
You're hiding there.
Yeah, exactly. So not really anything big to report. Set up the new HR person's laptop. I'm working on a phone for her. Working on phones for the DA's office. Also got the new comm center employee set up, David, and I can't remember.
You're quick.
I was not even gonna try it, so.
It's tricky.
Yes. We're currently in the process of doing the outsourced background checks on a couple of people for the IT job, so I'm waiting to get those back. We had a network switch that died in the power outage in like November, I want to say. And I finally ordered some replacements for that. I got a quote back from a couple of different vendors that was like $30,000, and I was like, no, I'm
Thank
not
you.
gonna. So I'm like, I could buy $30,000 switches for that if I really needed to. So I'm just gonna buy a few few of those. Wiring at the EMA, as far as running the wires up through the walls and everything, are complete. They still need to be terminated, I think, at the jacks and then up in the attic, I'm guessing. I don't think that has been done yet.
It's rolled up in the boxes.
Yeah, so that's all done, and then we'll get that terminated. So there's that. Also working on some website updates and a little bit of a redesign to that, hopefully. And that's all I had, other than the condolences for Commissioner Johnson and her family and what they're going through. My thoughts are with them, and I hope she knows if they need anything, we're here to help out and whatever we can do.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Jason, I have a couple of questions for you.
Yes, sir.
Number one, how are we coming on, finding a helper for you?
There, I've sent off the
Yes.
background check information off to, I don't remember the name of that company. Do you, Barb? Edgewater, and I think he said it was gonna be 2 weeks on that, so I'm waiting to get those back. I don't foresee any issues coming up, but that's gotta go through that process.
And they
so.
seem like pretty solid
Yeah,
candidates.
yep, so.
And then also, how are we doing on, I think we bought some iPads or something last year. Part of a program of so many.
So we bought, I had 2 laptops to do for the jail, and I think 4 or 5 computers. I used one of those laptops for HR, just to get her on a computer up and running quicker.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna replace that one, and then I'll work on that. So they're all in my office. I just haven't I've gotten Bobby's out, I think, over at the jail, and that's been it so far. I've got to get back on those to find the time to get those over there for them. So,
this year, are we planning on a few more?
yeah, that's my plan. I don't want to do it right off, but yeah, once we get the tech position hired, that's what I'm gonna start them off with, I think.
How many dollars are we talking about, more or less?
Probably, I would guess somewhere in the like 10 to 15,000 would be my guess.
Okay, that's.
That should give us like 10 to 15 computers to replace.
Yeah,
EMA has all new computers. Trying to think of who else did we replace this year. We're working on the jail. And I feel like I did a few, the sheriff's office, all the command staff have newer laptops. Those were probably 3 years old. So those are all set. So then it's going to be time to start replacing. Like I did one for deeds. Elena got a new one over in deeds. I have another new one for them. And then I have the jail to do to finish up from last year's budget. And then I'll start working on next year's or this current year's, sorry.
so $25,000 to $30,000 is the kind of a safe figure.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Yeah, I think definitely.
That's
And
what I wanted an idea.
yeah, that's my plan, is to replace them. I haven't seen any, my thought is, I think that Mike, I don't know, no, he's not here. He had put in for his grant to get them new computers, I believe, was included in that grant.
Yeah, and that was what, a 165, I believe.
Yeah, because of that furniture, we're gonna need to just rearrange the way they're sorted out and things like that. So we'll do those ones, but I don't think that comes out of our budget because I think it was part of that grant.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we'll do them. I'll figure out what department to do next, and then just any, anything that dies in the meantime, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen, but.
Sure.
You'll have to keep putting a reminder to Mike with regards to that, because I know he's looking at new lift stations.
Yes, yeah, and we sat down and talked
And,
about it.
okay,
Yeah.
good, because those were gonna be quite pricey, and I was
Yes.
thinking like, isn't there technology somewhere in there? And I.
Yeah, and there's, so it gets a little confusing because they have 3 computers at each station.
Yeah.
They have one that runs the radio system, one that runs Spillman, and one that runs the 911 system.
Annie and I.
So they have that, so we're gonna make sure those all fit and everything like that. So we've gone through, I've met with the salesperson from that company a couple of times, and we've gone over the details of what we need, and what they need for monitors and everything else. So I think we're all set on that, but I believe that comes out of it. I believe that was included in his grant, but I'll double
I
check
think
that
so,
to make
but as I
sure.
say, Mike,
Yeah,
well,
I know
we
those
don't have
guys.
to worry about that cost.
I don't believe so,
but
no.
as I say, I do know that those desks were a lot pricier than I realized, and it was like,
Yeah,
maybe, maybe we need the technology.
yeah, exactly. Yep, so I believe, but I'll double check that to make sure.
Because this is something I guess we can put in every year,
Yeah, yep.
Jason, so I think.
Yeah, definitely, yeah, so, yeah, and I'm still waiting back to hear we're still waiting on a quote from I'm probably gonna mispronounce this company name, but Eventide or
Yep.
Eventide. For the recorder for the comm center, so I can get a complete quote together for a phone system. So
Recorder, so we're not using Acorn?
we are currently, but that does not have the capability to record text messages or videos that come into
Interesting,
911.
okay,
That's
okay.
my understanding.
So will this new one just do text messages? Or
It will do everything. It will
Okay,
replace
so
everything. So
unfortunately, we'd eliminate Acorn. which
Yes,
we did
yeah.
with Since they're.
Yeah, and-
Start.
there was, and that's something I'm trying to look at is. While I am a fan of going with one system for everything,
Certainly.
if it's cost prohibitive, it doesn't, I'm not
Oh,
just
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
do it to do it. But we've just got to figure out if it makes sense to replace it, to go with one and. All that sort of stuff that will record 911 phone calls, 911 text messages, videos, I think aren't there yet, but rapidly coming down the line. And then the phone lines up at the sheriff's office, so. Yeah,
Awesome.
Very good.
so,
Thank you, Jason.
all right, thank you.
Thank you for the donuts.
Okay, Keith.
I guess Andrew's here and ready for action, so that's good. I know you sent me a message, Andrew, that you had an issue with your computer, so I put up a couple of,
I appreciate it. Thank you, Keith.
couple of the
And we have
contracts.
an IT guy right here. Is there something that you need to be putting up on the screen?
I would be happy to, but it's really just a small change to the previous proposal. that
Oh,
you
okay,
looked at.
okay.
So this is the hard copy, and then I filled in the blanks because I knew Barb was busy, so I put the appropriate addresses and dates, and page 12 is the signature page, Commissioner. So Andrew might, I guess, if you wanted to go through that contract briefly with any changes or discussion.
Dale, do you want to come up to the table too?
Do we have just one contract to view? Or-
I have,
Okay, can I
Another
just want
oh,
to see
sure.
it to follow along?
I did send you the electronic copy this morning, but that's when you got it.
All right.
So I've got another one here, David. And before we talk about the contract, I'll say, so my colleague Guy came and spoke with you, I think, last month.
Yes.
And presented the preliminary design and pricing to you. Subsequently, our engineering team has had a chance to look at it and make some updates. They felt we could fit a few more solar panels on the roof. So whereas we looked at a 40 kilowatt system last time, this time it's more like 46 kilowatts.
Mhm.
They were also able to find some cost savings, and so the actual overall price of the project has come down from about 175,000 down to about 172,000. So two, I think, great, those small improvements to the project since the
Good,
last time we looked at
good.
it. One other small change to the proposal document. Since the last time we looked at this, the utility rates have gone through the roof. And since the value of your solar is pinned to the cost of utility power, it also means that you're getting more value from the system. The value of the net energy billing credit went from 18.89 cents last year to 23.55 cents this year. So there's some, the downside is, of course, that energy costs are up. But the plus side is that means that the savings opportunity from your solar is much stronger than it was last year.
Where did you, I've been wondering about, not this contract, but solar in general, Andrew, there's projects, my son is involved in developing projects to build solar systems for Sargent Corporation. They work all over Maine, they have a fistful of projects all the time. Is this solar, is it, you keep bulging out and talking about these mammoth projects everywhere? Is it gonna drive up the cost of electricity even more?
It's a very good question, and I think it's really important for us to be thinking about that, at all times, right? When we talk about the value of solar, if you're getting 23.55 cents per kilowatt hour for every kilowatt hour that you generate, where does that money come from? And does that mean that other ratepayers in Waldo County or elsewhere in the state have to pay more
Yeah.
to offset the cost or the value of your solar to you? So, great question, and I want you to know it's foremost on the minds of the legislators who put the, solar legislation into effect in 2019, certainly foremost in the minds of the solar industry. Really the value of solar is in large part based on the results of the 2015 value of solar in Maine study that was done by the LePage administration's Public Utilities Commission, that took a look at, when you put a kilowatt hour of solar on the grid, how much value does that have to the utility company? And how do we create a fair market access for a solar generator, as Waldo County is considering becoming, for them to get the value that the solar is worth on the grid. Not to go, I could really, I love discussing the subject. I could probably go into that in depth, but just. And you let me know if you want to hear more after I give you the sort of high level part. When there's two different types of renewable energy generation. There's when you make a power plant out of it, you put it right into the substation, it goes onto the high tension lines, and it's sold at a wholesale rate as supply. This project is not like that. This is distributed generation and net energy. And so what it does is provides you with bill credits. And so what is the value of that? Well, it turns out the value of it comes from, yes, offsetting supply, right? The energy you generate on your rooftop isn't going to have to be made by a power plant somewhere else and delivered to you at that time. But also, and probably much more importantly, it is energy that is generated onto the distribution grid basically at the point of sale. So even if you're not using it inside the building at the time it's being generated, it's going to go out onto the line and really go like water, downhill to the next customer down the line who's going to use it. And so where the value is for CMP in that arrangement, the largest part of their cost of doing business is maintaining high tension transmission lines and substations. So if you're generating electricity that's used just locally, that preempts their future need to maintain and upgrade, ever larger transmission and substation capacity, right? Because the transmission lines, the high tension lines, they need to be built for 3 times what the local peak load is. Local peak load happens in the middle of hot, sunny summer days when all the summer people are here, all the refrigeration and the air conditioning is all turned on, et cetera. And so that's when solar is generating at its peak load or its peak capacity. And so it's shaving the top of annual peak loads, which means that that CMP has major savings on their transmission side. This was the finding of the value of solar in Maine study in 2015. And that is how the value of solar has been assigned.
So that's the transmission side, and the generation side is that big power plant producing it at a lower rate, though, cost rate than solar.
So good question. I will say, like, when you build solar at scale, a 300 or 400 acre parcel,
Right.
they're selling wholesale electricity for 3.5 cents in most cases, which is very competitive with the fossil fuel based power plant. The other thing that happens on the generation side is we have a number of peaker plants around Maine. They're called peakers, including probably most notably would be like Cousins Island on the way down to Portland. The Cousins Island plant only operates probably 8 days out of the year.
That's also a Black Start one, though, isn't it?
It's a,
Black Start plant.
I'm not sure.
If the grid goes down,
Yeah.
they have certain generation plants they have to keep on board so that they can restart the grid.
Right. And so
And
it's got to pass, not all plants can start up in the blink of an eye, but that's one that is, fast ramping. And so it only turns on when those high peaks are needed, or certain other times like you're describing, I guess.
a Black Start generator.
And that is the most expensive capacity of generation capacity to have on the grid. So again, by shaving off peak usage times, increasing solar generation reduces future need for building new peakers, and has the potential in the future to eliminate the need for some of the existing peakers, which overall reduces the cost of supply.
And then another question, a couple of questions I have, Andrew. When would we, if we do this, would it come up that we could be get in line to get it done?
So contracts that we're signing today are going in spring of 2024. I had a conversation with our commercial crew lead in the Montville shop. And he said that because this is so close to the shop and it's a pitched roof project, this is really ideal for winter work. So
Oh, really?
I think what we're looking at is probably winter of 23/24. You know, especially when the snow hits the ground, they don't really like to do ground mounted projects during that time. They don't like to do flat roofs, you know, and so the commercial team is really looking for pitched roofs. We don't have a ton of commercial pitched roofs. So I think that maybe will give you a chance to move up in the queue a little bit.
Okay, and another question I had was, I know I'm looking at this sheet right here.
Good.
There's 172,000.
Yeah.
Then I noticed there's 52,000 investment tax credit. I assume that you have to pay the 172,000 and at some point you get return of 52,000 or something. How's that work?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
How well is the government sending out that,
it's a brand new program, so we
okay, so
actually
you're
don't
not
know the
familiar
answer
with
to
any
that.
of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good question.
What other costs are associated with this? I mean, I'm thinking, I'm reading through the contract and, any of the permitting, any of the site preparation. I mean, so what are the costs of those? Are those fully included in this, or is this additional above and beyond?
Yeah, so we have, and again, apologies that we are not able to have a populated contract in front of us today, but there are going to be a set of allowances that are included in this price, which are, yes, permitting. The big sort of, I would say the X factor in this project is interconnection with CMP, right? We're gonna have to file an interconnection application with them, and they will tell us what it's gonna cost to interconnect, and that is an unknown quantity at this time.
You
So
don't have any
that's-
rough guesses what that might look
I
like?
think it's gonna be about $5,000.
Oh.
Yeah, the application is gonna be about 2,000, interconnection is gonna be about 5,000. Those are both included in our 72. But they're both allowances. And so if the cost of interconnection is less than what we've estimated, then you will pay less. If the cost is more, we will ask you to pay a little bit more, and we will know that 6 to 10 weeks after the signing of the contract when we file the interconnection application.
In general, Andrew, do you find that solar companies in general, all of them are pretty well spoken for, so to speak, going forward, as far as getting in line to do stuff?
I think that you could probably go out and find a company that could do it sooner than us.
So we want
But
to.
yes, there's a lot of demand for the product right now.
That's good. That says you're busy.
Well, I always, I lived in New York City briefly, and they said, if you see a long line, get into it.
Yeah.
I think we're at a point where we'd like to get a contract on the book, so to speak, and the budget committee is always hammering us about getting involved with solar. That would be an indication that we've got another project we're doing out there. The farm where Dale is building a building. He's got one out there he's doing. So we're really interested, and I realize you have these contracts, and they're several pages long, but I think for all, and what do you think, Commissioner Fowler? I think for all intents and purposes.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate this. I'll be really impressed and or shocked to ever see that 52,000. I think it looks pretty on paper, but I'm one of those that it's like, show me the money. I believe it when I see it. And I'm not gonna say I'm not a little antsy about, cost. I always get nervous when you don't have solid figures. I completely understand. You know what I mean? But that always makes me nervous.
Yes.
What is that? Our budget is, X number of dollars, but Commissioner Shorey's right. I mean, we have a very environmentally conscious budget committee. Surprisingly enough, one of them isn't here, and she's always at our meetings. I think everything's okay. But so yeah, I mean, I'll go along with this, Bill, if you'd like.
Yeah.
If you'd like.
Well, we kind of kick this around and up and down, but I think I'd like to make a motion that we accept this contract and get in line to,
Oh, and I like the idea if they can get, I mean, you're absolutely right. I've seen some solar projects driving by that it looks like they're at a standstill right now because they're, you know, they, so, but, so I guess, Dale, you don't have any other questions or thoughts? I'm sorry, go ahead, before.
So we are going through the interconnection process right now on our project.
Mhm.
We've identified certain county accounts that we're gonna credit towards. So we'll want to make sure that we coordinate that, so we're not crediting the same bills.
Right,
I don't think there'll be a problem. I personally think that the sheriff's office bill is gonna absorb.
majority, yeah.
Yeah. I think I was looking at, I think we use like 90 something
Even
thousand.
if yours
For a lot of
just took
stuff.
care of your EMA and the warehouse and like
Well,
garden property.
We're generating a little bit more than this one. I think it's
Nice.
46 point something. So just barely a little bit more. It will easily cover our building and the warehouse. But we've also added this building,
Mhm.
district court building. And then if for some reason we've generated more in the middle of the summer than our bills, we've also added on the cooperative extension office.
Oh,
That
nice.
bill. So my recommendation is would be the interconnection for all the buildings that are up there. Have the sheriff's office
yeah.
first, and then you could do either the RCD or the jail.
Center.
Jail, you could put up a field of solar panels and it probably wouldn't
Right.
handle the power load. of the
Yeah, right.
jail. That place.
I think when we did the load profile earlier in the process, we figured it would take about an acre of ground space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of power being used up there.
We were like, what, 60% of, we were gonna generate 60 to 70% of what we would use in that one building, I think, is what Guy projected.
Well, what we're gonna generate is about $12,000 a year worth of energy.
Right.
So,
And we're doing like,
here you spending, you said, what, 80, 90?
that's kilowatt hours.
Oh, kilowatt hours. okay.
Right, for the billing, I think it's probably like 36,000 just for that public safety building.
Okay.
Wow. Wow, that's awesome.
And the jail's bigger,
Yeah,
bigger bill.
Mhm.
Um,
So the city of Belfast did, the one on the fire station.
Yeah.
And then they did the one on the landfill, and then they did one of the new public safety or the public works building.
Right.
So, I think staging it in this way is a sensible way to approach it. You guys can get familiar with the projects and you see how they work, and then maybe we can look at doing a bigger project in a year or two.
also, you've got, any design or as-built electrical drawings, building plans. I don't know if you need hard copy or. you need,
Electronic is preferred, but hard copy
Electronic
is
in the
fine.
sense of a PDF or CAD.
CAD is good.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's another incentive to get the CAD files from WRC.
Yeah.
We're doing renovation work up there too, and I'm trying to get the CAD files for that building from WRC who designed it.
Gotcha.
And then the last thing is, the investment tax credit, what worries me is we don't pay taxes to the federal government, so.
I know, I truly
Tax
struggle.
credit isn't gonna
Yeah.
work for us, but if it's, last time the guy that was here said that, well, for public entities, it's gonna be a rebate of some sort. I mean, okay.
Right, so
Yeah.
and that's brand new, right?
Right.
Most of the tax exempt entities we've worked with for the last 12, 14 years have done power purchase agreements. So that they can indirectly take advantage of tax credits that were available to them. The Inflation Reduction Act included a section that said, now if you're a tax exempt entity, such as a government entity or, schools, churches, water and sewer districts, and so on and so forth. Then you can access the value of that investment tax credit through a direct rebate check. And so that's why things are looking so much better for tax exempt entities to buy out.
No, I'm
As soon-
fair game.
As soon as we can find the information out, I like to do it on my other project, because if it's also of the same value.
Yeah.
So we could be looking at another $50,000 if it happens.
That's good.
So as far as permitting city of Belfast, how has your experience been with that?
Easy peasy.
Good, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that's
We've got a-
good
We've
news.
got a long-standing relationship.
Not as
And
Fun, Bill.
it's probably easily understood. Okay, good, good. Now, do you get the permits and go before the city council and all that? Okay, good, good.
Does that have to go to the planning board or just the code enforcement officer?
Probably just code enforcement in most cases for a rooftop project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
It wasn't an issue up in Swanville.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have to dive into the local ordinance and forgive me, that's not actually my department, so I don't know, have specific knowledge of the Belfast system, but I know we build projects in Belfast. You know,
We had to
monthly.
do a site plan for that public safety building originally, so we had to go to the planning board.
Hmm.
And technically, if we do any modifications, we're supposed to go back to the planning board.
Okay.
But I don't know about the issue, we just, if it's, if you're changing the shingles to a, metal roof, you probably don't have to go.
Yeah.
If we're adding space on the ground, we probably
Yeah.
would,
We'll,
but we want to get that clarified.
yeah, we'll parse that out,
Yeah.
it's important to us to be good citizens of Belfast, because we want to continue to do business here for the long term.
Yeah.
And so, and our development team is, well familiar with Belfast and their planning board and can manage,
Who was the fellow we used from Eden Peabody? Tall guy, we did that project.
I know, I can picture him too.
Andy Hampton.
Yes, yeah,
He said, because we had to hire him to get our project through the planning board, because it was such a nightmare.
Hmm.
They didn't want to do
in
it
Swanville.
in Belfast.
in Belfast.
And he said the three hardest communities in the state of Maine to deal with was Bar Harbor, Camden, and Belfast.
But I'm excited to learn that Belfast, because you're right, they've just done their firehouse, their public safety building and everything. So they're all onto this. So in lieu of time and appreciation for this contract and this information, I'd like to make a motion that we go with the contract.
Motion to seconded.
Oh, it is? Who made the motion?
I did.
He did and you seconded and it's just been.
Oh, good,
discussed during
yeah,
this
look,
time.
yeah,
You have to do more comments.
yeah, really. Okay, that's right. I asked you. I'm sorry. Yeah, so we're good.
Where was, do we sign?
Yeah. you guys-
So we will have to finish populating the contract and get it back over to you in the next.
Okay,
2 or 3
well-
business days.
So it's a done deal now, so
Understood.
get it back over to us and
Yes, sir.
we'll go from there.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time.
I
Yeah,
really
thank you.
appreciate your time this morning and your commitment to your renewable energy goals. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thanks, and okay, thanks.
thank you, Dale.
Thank you.
Keith.
If you want, they shoot me that.
Dale, it looks like I might actually
When
make
you
it.
get it all
11.
populated, then I will get that signed, you get signed copy back.
No,
Who
Geez.
is?
No, there isn't.
Signature.
Oh,
Gonna be
that is great. My mother always
Yeah,
called it
that.
nursing home meal. I loved it. But
The meeting, you get a free meal. It'll be in our meeting.
where Dale is standing here, I might as well say, so it is on for the record that we have a date before state and local, January
Oh, yes.
31st for our bill, what, 1199? Oh, 11.9, I'm sorry. An act to clarify boundary between Knox and Waldo. Waldo and Knox.
And we've got the minutes from both the Knox and the Waldo commissioners,
Approving.
that.
And I said to Dale, I said, I'll write testimony, he's gonna write testimony, and Rob is. And I think we'll just
And I'll send it to you.
electronically submit it. I really don't think anybody needs to be present.
It's on.
We did exactly as they asked. I mean, I'll tell you, if it's a good day and I happen to have
Let's
thing to
paper
do,
and-
I might go out, go to Augusta just because
Um,
you never know, you know what I mean? But we have done exactly what this committee asked us to do, and that was to work together to figure out. I like how they've got to clarify the boundary. So,
You wrote the bill,
yeah,
Rob.
yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, but no, and he's done a great job.
It's an amazing job.
So, but I just wanted to make sure that was for the record.
I got interviewed the other day by the local journal, so there should be an article coming out this week on that. And I stressed to them that most agreed to it,
Yeah,
that Knox was basically annexing Robinson Rock, which Rob calculated that within about 10 years, it could be a shoal. If the water fives. May have to change his name.
no, as I said, I mean, I remember how they tried to make us out to be these horrible bad guys, and it's like, anyway, but so we've
It's been a 3-year process. We started this in January of 2020.
for a map that they botched up.
Well, yeah, the Fed spot stuff,
Yeah,
USGS.
so. Wow,
Thank you,
okay,
Dale.
thank you, Dale, thank you very much.
No public comment. County Commissioners, I'd like to say that, Commissioner Johnson, of course, is here today. But we started, we don't have to have that executive session.
Excellent.
Because you and I talked about this, what it is, Barbara, we started a conversation with Knox about, Knox is, I guess, the initiating the conversation because they're worried that at some point they won't be able to fill the shift. So I asked Mike, following that discussion with him, and I said, Mike, what has been said? Where are we in the playing field in this discussion? He said, well, my attitude is, position is, we have a new station, it's all upgraded. If Knox needs help to answer the phone, that person is come to our comm center and answer from there. And that's where we are, and if they wanna go to something other than that, it will be a lot more discussion. But that's it's not an easy thing to figure out, as Commissioner Powell has stated, and especially fearful of the unions that would just bring someone in. Hey, we don't have to do this work, or you don't. So if they send someone physically to our station to answer for that shift, for their location, that's all the discussion is about at the moment. And if they want to do something other than that, I would have to think and have a lot of discussions with you people, because we will be biting off twice the problems that we have now.
When, like Bill and I, when we were talking, and I said to him, you don't just close a PSAP, which is what Knox
Right.
County is like us. You don't just close
Yeah.
one and move people over. Thankfully, we've had an agreement with Knox for years.
Yeah.
We basically have each other's backs. And although we're short-staffed by like 4, I think they're short-staffed by like 8.
But there's a short staff that worried about not being able to answer the phone, and
So, but I mean, Bill's right. I think we'll assist where we can, how we can in our venue, not not leaving and going to
we're not
theirs.
gonna ask people to drive to Knox to answer the phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it is a bit concerning, isn't it, that we're picking up the slack for them on several other things,
They have a lot of problems internally that I can't understand.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, we won't, I said to Mike, we won't say, we won't have a discussion, we're willing to have a discussion,
Certainly.
and listen to them. But, we'll be, if they want short staff and want the phones answered, send the person to our location.
Yeah. Because we have light technology. We have, I think Owen started that years ago.
Yeah,
We have light technology and contracts that
Yeah,
we can blend. So.
so
No,
you'll still be meeting on the 25th?
yes.
Yes, okay. All right.
All right, that's, do you have anything else, Commissioner? Paul?
no, just, as I say, we've hired Annette as HR and, Trish has been here for like 6 weeks now as our, finance director. It's been hairy, scary, and, a hell of a ride for a while there, just trying to get everything down pat and leveled off, and I think we've got a great team. I'm really kind of excited for the future. I think we're gonna see some cool stuff happen, so.
And I'm very excited about the conversation this morning. That's something we've
Absolutely.
needed for a long time.
Absolutely, no, definitely, so. Yep,
And Barbara, if we, we'll have this meeting on the 10th with HR. And we'll
on the
bring
10th.
that gal after the
10th.
meeting. We'll bring her in so for you and Trista, talk to.
Sure.
Get to know,
So we'll just have it set up in here for 10 on Monday.
Yeah.
For the three of you.
yeah,
Monday's the 23rd, right? So just so we're all on the same
Yeah.
page.
I'll have it set up tonight.
I just don't wanna overpower.
Well, that's why I said,
No.
I think a lot of times when you sit there and you're meeting with a group, it's one thing once you're established, but initially it's quite intimidating.
And that's something that I almost always was asked when I would call people to interview. They'll say, how many people will I be meeting with? Will it just be you? And I'll say, no, it'll be 4 people. And I go, oh. Or
Yeah, no,
3.
it is. It's-
Panic.
It is intimidating, so. Oh,
You folks know what you're looking for.
So I don't know, Commissioner, I don't have anything else.
no, I've got a bunch of stuff that I've got to finish up in the office there, but as I say, I will reach out again to Liberty. In the event I cannot reach the town of Liberty to discuss this.
Yeah,
I'll notify Barb, and Barb, you will set up a date, and we
Okay.
will hear this hearing.
All right,
I have not called this gentleman back,
right.
the petitioner.
No,
I have
usually-
not called him back. He actually called here,
He
this
called again?
office.
Okay,
He called this office the other day,
Did he?
and they gave me the message, but I have not had a chance to call him.
yeah, you don't usually till you know what.
Yeah,
Although I don't mind updating him to say you needed to go over it today during your court.
I might
session.
ask you to do that later.
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll work it out and what to try to say to him.
Okay, with that being said, I will make a motion, we adjourn.
second. Adjourn.
Yep,
Thank you very much.
we're done, Jace.